This is the IWI Tavor X95, the official service rifle for the Israel Defense Forces. Now, before we get into the rifle itself, I need to address the viewer analytics for the channel. Apparently, we have 99.9% male viewers. So I think we need to bump the numbers up for the female viewers. So anyone that's not female, go ahead, get out and go down in the comments and post something about women that you love. I'm sure this will be a great idea. I'm sure I'll see some great comments down there. Also, in the description, I have linked my link tree where I have a few discount codes as well as just various affiliate links. So get out, go down, and click on one of those links. Now, let's get into the rifle itself. As you can see, the Tavor X95 is a bullpup. Meaning the action, everything that goes on, I guess, is behind the trigger. I don't have the actual definition, but that's just how I would explain it to someone. So everything is going on back here rather than up here like an M4 or something of that nature. This is a 16.5-inch barrel with a 1-in-7 twist. So the barrel goes all the way from the tip here all the way back bing, bing, to right here. This is chambered in 5.56. They do make them in 9mm 300 blackout, and then I think for the actual like forces themselves, they have a couple different ones like 5.45, stuff like that. But the ones that we can get for the US are 5.56, 300 blackout, and 9mm. Now, the great thing about bullpups, everyone knows, is that they're much more compact for, well, just anything. I mean, I have a 16.5-inch barrel on here, and the overall length is 26 inches, about 26 inches, compared to, we're just gonna compare it to my MCX, which is my main rifle. The MCX is 31 inches, and that is an 11.5-inch barrel. So that's a big difference. I mean, if I had a 16-inch barrel on there, it would be much different, but yeah. This is a little bit heavy, even though it's like the main body of it is polymer. You hear that? It's 7.9 pounds compared to the 7.3 pounds that the MCX is, and everyone talks about how the MCX is heavy. I mean, but it's a little bit different when it comes to a bullpup because all of the weight is back here rather than like an MCX where it's all the way out front. And so when you're holding it, it wants to just keep going down. While this, it kind of stays in this region. So, I mean, it's definitely much easier to handle and it doesn't feel like 7.9 pounds. MSRP for this is $2 grand, but I think I saw them going for around 1,800 on like Gunbroker and Omaha Outdoors, stuff like that. So take that as you will. I should also say I received this rifle from IWI, not for this review, but they sent it to me to create other content for them. They had no idea that I'm even making this. I didn't even talk about it. They sent it to me to make other stuff, and I just thought, you know what, I'll do a video on it too. Now, a lot of people do not like bullpups because of a lot of reasons, but the main reasons everyone usually talks about is the trigger. And I was one of those people too. Bullpups are known to have much worse triggers than your typical AR, something like that. This IWI Tavor X95 is actually known to have a much better trigger than most bullpups. So they advertise it at around 5 to 6 pounds, I believe. This is empty. And I would believe that, but here is, I guess we're gonna do another thing here. So there's a little bit of, I heard someone, I can't remember, I think it was John Lovell, talk about how the trigger is very similar to a pistol trigger, where there's take up and then you hit a distinct wall and then it's a little mushy and then you press into it. So it's like a striker fire pistol. And I definitely believe that. I mean, let's see. So I don't know if you can see this, but definitely mush. Just right here, it's all mush. And then, but I hit a wall and then it's squeeze, 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 and it's a little bit mushy, but I mean, again, if you think about it like it's a pistol trigger, then I think you're good to go. It's not a terrible trigger by any means, but it is definitely not as good as an AR-15 trigger. That being said, apparently I think Geissele does make a replacement trigger for this, and it makes it exactly like an AR-15 trigger. So if that's the one thing holding you back from getting something like this, for the X95, Geissele does make a trigger for this. As you can see, there's a little block right here. That is the mag release. So I believe on the older generations, the mag release was back here. So it was a little bit awkward whenever you're transitioning from an AR-15 style rifle to this. So you would have to relearn and like, oh, you have to go back here and release the mag. Well, up here now it's, including the safety lever, it's just right here, just like an AR, and it's an ambi mag release, one on both sides that you can just hit with your trigger finger right there. Pretty cool. Now let's talk about the attachments that I have on here. We will start from the front here. It just comes with a regular bird cage. I haven't switched that out, and we will get to that here in a minute, why I haven't put a suppressor on it or something like that. But then I just have an Edgar Sherman design sling on here, AOR1, pretty cool. I just had a light laying around. It's a Streamlight HLX, ProTech HLX, I believe. Again, I just had it laying around. It works great. It's great for the money. I recommend getting one of these if you don't want to spend too much money, if you don't want to go to the Arisaka point. But yeah, just one of these. Then I just have a BCM Mod 3 VFG, I think they call it. It's not really vertical. I mean, I guess it is, but it's not 90 degrees. It's a little canted, so I think I saw people, if you're worried about putting a vertical grip on a pistol, a lot of people go this route because it's not technically 90. That's not the reason I put it on here, I just like it. So yeah. And then we go into Tavor specifics. So this charging handle that I have is from Manticore Arms, I believe it's called. And this is the switchback charging handle. So this actually collapses, so you're able to, it's kind of like I would equate it to like a G36 charging handle, if you've ever seen one of those, where you can sort of fold it out and then you can use it. But then whenever you release it, it just goes right back and it's not sticking out waiting to get snagged on anything. So I replaced the stock one. It wasn't terrible. I just wanted something that was more in line with the body of the rifle. Sticking with Manticore Arms, I have their gasketed port cover. This actually keeps any gases from going straight into your face, because with bullpups, you have the action and everything right next to your face. So it's pretty common for you to get carbon on your mouth or something like that, especially if you're going to shoot suppressed, which I haven't done yet, but I went ahead and got a gasketed port cover, and it works great. No gas is coming out in my face. And speaking of gas coming out, I have a Tango Down, it's like a Scar Rail cover or something like that, but it works for this. And I put it on top here because just at the back of the rail and where the sort of body meet, gas can come out of there too. So I actually got this idea straight from IWI US. One of their guys was on YouTube and he was talking about, if you want to stop gas from coming out of there without any permanent solutions, you can grab one of these Tango Down sort of rail covers and stick a little rubber sort of piece inside of there, and it'll stop gas from coming out of there. So now all the gas is directed away from my face. And lastly, on top, I have an EOTech XPS 2-1, the single dot, not it doesn't have the donut, it's literally just like a regular red dot. I really enjoy it. It's pretty cool. It's different. But I also have that, I've sort of made it into a poor man's EXPS. So I have it on an ADM, American Defense. I have it on their sort of just one of their rail risers, and it's QD. Not because I want to keep taking this off and putting it back on, but I wanted a tiny bit of a riser to put on this, but I didn't want to buy something like a Unity for this. I don't know. There's no specific reason. I just did it. So let's talk about how I feel about this rifle. Comparing to an AR-15, I think this is a very smooth shooter. It feels completely different to shoot compared to an AR-15, and I think it's just because all of the action happens back here, and it feels very smooth. The recoil impulse feels like almost nothing. It's completely different. And then I bet it has something to do with the fact that it's a 16-inch barrel as well. I don't have any, well, I guess I have one 16-inch rifle, but it's a bolt action. I don't have any 16-inch full-length semi-auto rifles, but I mean, comparing to a 14.5, it's still, this feels way smoother in terms of recoil impulse than my BCM does. Again, like I mentioned, it is a little heavy, but like I said, all the weight is back here, sort of in your shoulder pocket area. So it's much easier to hold this for a long time. I think fully loaded, this weighs 10 pounds, 10 ounces. Whenever I have it fully loaded, I have a full mag here, just inserted in there, and I can hold this. I mean, I'm not super strong or anything like that, but I can hold this out here for quite a while before it starts getting super tired and wanting to dip down like an AR-15 or an MCX would, where it's just super front heavy and wanting to dip straight down. So the weight is, I would say it's almost a non-factor. The rifle, in terms of accuracy, I haven't tested MOA or anything like that. That's not something I'm interested in. I know some of you people are, but as far as just a semi-auto rifle, that's not something I'm interested in. So I haven't tested it, but it works great. I'm able to hit shit out to 100. That's as far as I've taken it, and it shoots fine. In terms of looks, because a lot of people do not like the looks of bullpups, and I understand why. There's plenty of ugly ones out there. There's plenty of abominations that turns your AR-15 into a bullpup. I know a lot of people don't like the look of them. To me, obviously this is just my personal preference. This doesn't look too bad. I've seen uglier, I've seen better looking, but this one looks fine. It looks fine to me. So if you're just into looks as well, that could be an issue for you, but to me, the gun looks great. And if you want to modify the way this looks, there's quite a bit of aftermarket support. So you can change out this I guess handle to, instead of having this long trigger guard here, you can make it be like a normal one where your hand can't just slide up in there. You can just switch it out to where it's just a normal trigger guard like on an AR-15 or just a pistol. You can even change out the top rail and make the front rails go out further and shit like that. So I think there's quite a bit of aftermarket support for the X95. So again, if you want to change up all the looks and stuff, you can do that. All right, so let's get to suppressing the rifle. Like I mentioned earlier, I have not put a suppressor on this because of a couple of reasons. One, I believe the rifle was not made to be suppressed. Just from reading online forums and seeing some YouTube videos about it, if you're going to suppress this rifle, you should probably have a high flow or flow through can where the gas comes out the front rather than redirecting into the rear, because apparently this is super over-gassed. So whenever you're shooting it suppressed, it's putting a lot of strain on all the moving parts in there, and it'll just tear up the rifle pretty quick, apparently. So I do not have a flow-through suppressor, and I did not want to begin destroying this rifle if that's what actually happens. So I just didn't put any different muzzle device on there so I can put a suppressor on. So if I get a flow-through suppressor, I will put it on this and see how it works. Now for some random things. The IDF, the Israel Defense Force, according to what I could read online and from IWI themselves, this is the official service rifle for the IDF. I looked at some, we know that there's a conflict going on there right now in Israel. I looked at some photos just to, scan through and just to see if I could see anyone using this. I saw a number of these actually, but I didn't see an overwhelming amount. I don't know if it's because They have a lot more soldiers out there right now, so it's not the norm for them to be carrying this. I saw a lot of like sort of Car 15 variants and stuff like that, or something of that nature. But I saw a few of these. They're definitely out there and being used right now. So this rifle itself is clearly trusted enough by people to use in a dire situation. So if you're worried about being combat proven or something, this rifle is definitely combat proven. So the Tavor X95, overall, I would say that this rifle it is very good. It's different. If you have never shot a bullpup before, it is completely different than shooting an AR-15 platform or something like that. So go into it expecting different, and you may be surprised. Like I said, this rifle, it's not as bad as what people may think a bullpup would be. Again, the trigger, completely fine. The recoil impulse, better than an AR-15. There's a few weird things, like get a different suppressor. If you're going to suppress it, you can't just put any suppressor on. There's a new manual of arms you have to learn, so it's not completely different. Obviously, with enough practice, you'll have it down in no time. Reloading in your shoulder is a little bit different, but again, just learn it and you'll be fine. So if you're looking for a fighting rifle that's different from an AR-18 or an AR-15 style rifle, I think this would be fantastic. So as always, I'll see you on the other side.